Boom, welcome back to Sebs for everybody. It's your boy Sebs, co-host Gib. Today we're previewing UFC Buenos Aires, Magny versus Ponzinibbio. Like I always say, man, good card, top to bottom. I like the main card a lot. 6 fights, 6 good fights. We got some good fights on this card for sure. But I'm definitely looking forward to Magny versus Ponzinibbio.
Great fight.
5 rounds of that. I think it ends before the. I think it ends in the third. I won't say. Yeah, I won't say who I'm picking yet, but I do think it ends a little bit early. But we'll go and start with the first fight here. We got our first fight on Fight Pass prelims. We got Narimani taking on Anderson dos Santos. Narimani is a guy who just fought Khalid Taha, another bantamweight who moved up to 145 to fight him. Before that, he dominated Paddy Pimblett for 5 rounds in Cage Warriors. Trains at Team Alpha Male. He's going to have Uriah Faber in his corner. You saw Uriah Faber chose out to walk with him for the weigh-ins. He's been training at Alpha Male for a while, on and off, but now he's like fully committed there, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He's a really good wrestler, and he's got some nasty chokes. And I think working at Team Alpha Male is just going to help his chokes and his submission offense a lot, especially, and his obviously submission defense a lot. Something he might need in this fight, but he has a very good top control. He's got good striking. He puts guys on their back foot a lot. I like the pressure that he puts, and he's very aggressive. Anderson dos Santos is a 135er, moving up to 145 on short notice to fight Narimani here, and I think it's going to be outsized. And I think Narimani is the better striker, more powerful striker on the feet, and I think Narimani is going to be able to take him down at will and just grind out a win here, if not get us a late submission. So I got 5 units on Narimani with somebody later in the card in a parlay, but I'm very confident in that.
Okay. I like this fight because going into Anderson dos Santos, currently on a 3-fight win streak since his loss to Victor Henry, really good at kind of taking off his back, going for chokes. In his Claude Denis Botelho fight, locking up a guillotine in the first round of that. I haven't seen very many fights, and I'm curious about his Ricky Simone fight, because that's Ricky Simone's only loss, real big to Dos Santos.
It's on Fight Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really good at tying up and grappling. Good underhooks, getting the fight to the ground. Beat up Thiago dos Santos as soon as they were as Santos changed to his back and he was forced to give it up. Really goes for those chokes when he can. His strikes tend to land a little bit late, and he does tend to be a slow starter. But he kept Zach Cummings clinched, and after taking a few big shots, regained composure and got back into the fight. I like his single kicks, but he needs a lot more of them because they stopped Zach Cummings, but I think if he was throwing
Zach Cummings
yeah.
No way, man. Zach Cummings is fucking 170 pounds. You think you have Prazeres?
Maybe. I think he's got a good. Prazeres. Yeah. Sorry, you gotta have a lot of submissions in that fight. You're right. And he got that north-south choke over Berkman.
Yeah, you're thinking of Prazeres, bro.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck, my bad. Yeah. Got it mixed up. Sorry. Narimani, on the other hand, he's got a good left hook, man. Throws the right hand, maybe land a kick or knee if he can. Good off the draw, really quick early. Got a good eye. Ducks under with his kicks placement is pretty good at times. He walks around a little unbalanced. He's got a lot of kind of swagger. Kind of jumps, poses for a bit. He's a big threat early though, and economical in his movement, so he can do that throughout the fight. And he'll jump on you if he can get the finish after landing a big shot. Constant punches against Jeremy Patel. He's able to control and quick. Mostly known for submissions and rear naked chokes as well, and triangle after going 5 rounds with before Taha. It's not. Yeah, I like Anderson Dos Santos still in this fight.
Anderson Dos Santos?
Yeah.
You don't even know who Anderson Dos Santos is. You were fucking talking about Prazeres.
I just got some notes mixed up. My bad.
Oh.
I guess I had I just had his note crammed down with his. My bad.
Okay, so whatever. We'll let you slide on that one. But you are taking Anderson Dos Santos, so we're gonna mark that down. Okay, Devin Powell taking on Jesus Pinedo. I'll let you take this one, Gib.
Devin Powell, he stood in a good fight with Jakar Close and Daryl Horcher. Powell's been hit with some pretty big shots, though, due to having low hands, especially by Daryl Horcher. Almost got in an anaconda choke in the 3rd round, close to a dart after to a guillotine, and scary grip, man. I can imagine what would happen if he got that early. He's kind of good at rolling people over after them being taken down or swept. He can recover pretty fast. Powell can go for some interesting takedowns too, and he can make it happen and really pulling the carpet out of some opponent's feet. Blasted some well-aimed kicks against Alvaro Herrera, who took 2 shots and called it quits in a very surprising knockout that came right after his knockdown, and can pick himself up after a shot is landed. And man, Jesus Pindo, on the other hand, I think this guy's very scrappy, but still, I mean, you can't let him fool you, because if you turn around, you'll be on the ground real quick. When he clinches, he lands a few strikes and then can re-clinch, getting right back to work doing the same thing. Likes to rinse and repeat a lot of stuff, has a nice left hand, and looks to pull the trigger early, and if he lands it, he'll start to get a little more creative with it. His mount and ground pound can be pretty scary, as he keeps opponents pinned with a lot to handle, man. And he's really tough once he gets to the ground. I mean, I still like Devin Powell in this fight, at least for the standing. But it could be interesting once it hits to the ground. But I got Devin Powell in this.
Yeah, I like Jesus in this fight. Not like anything
surprising, yeah.
But I think he's got some nasty jiu-jitsu. He's pulled off some, from what I saw, nasty triangle choke, armbar to triangle choke, and he's got some power in his hands as well too. He's got some knockouts on his record. I just don't think super highly of Devin Powell. Even like when he got that against John Lemke, his rear naked choke, he got in front of Dana White on Dana White's looking for a fight. Fucking broke his nose and shit, bro. He got fucked up that fight. And that was like Lemke's like kind of a can, man. From what I see, it's like 7-9. So and then he goes and he fights Jakar Close. I thought Jakar Close was honestly gonna finish him, but he didn't. And I wonder what his odds were for the fight. Plus 250. Fuck. Okay, and then you saw him against Daryl Horcher, and then the Alvaro Herrera fight where he got a nasty body kick to the body, coming back from like ruptured testicles or whatever. Yeah, fucking body kick. Sends Herrera to the ground, finishes him. This is short notice for Jesus Pinedo. It's a tough fight to call, but I do like Jesus here. No bet. Next up, we got Hector Aldana taking on Laureano Staropoli. And fucking, I like Aldana a lot here. I got 3.1 units on Aldana at plus 163. He's currently sitting at like minus 140. So I got that before the line switched over.
Okay.
Punches fucking hard. Great boxing. Pushes the pace. Always pushes the guy on his back foot. He's got good takedowns as well. Will catch a foot and sweep you. Good top pressure. But I'm most impressed about his hands. He's got power in his hands, and I think he actually finishes Laureano Staropoli here. From what I saw of Laureano, is nothing special. He's got some decent kicks, decent hands and stuff. Knockouts on his record, but he doesn't push the pace that I like to see. I see Hector Aldana being way more aggressive than him and just pushing a pace and eventually knocking him out, if not getting a decision here, 30-27. But I see Aldana knocking him out, I think. Yeah, so I got 3.1 units on Aldana at plus 163.
Yeah, the footage was I thought it was a bit low for Staropoli, but I enjoyed his Sebastian Delgadillo fight. He was getting bodied early, actually, with a crazy flurry, and fired a left hook out of nowhere from the eye of the storm, like just getting hurricane hands, and throwing a punch straight down the middle. He has got three. He's on a 3 knockout streak, so that's not too bad. Pulling off a Kimura and another submission before in an MMA fight. I'm not sure if they say what that submission was, but I'm not sure if he's really a submission guy. He walks and pressures people, has a nice little speed walk. But in that Sebastian Delgado fight, he did give up his back a lot. Check it out. Like I'm not sure how he didn't get choked or something. Got real lucky, I guess. Eventually, he landed another left hook, and that was the end of that fight. And I agree with you, Hector Aldana. The wasabi went off. Definitely got noticed on his fights from Tough. First round of his fight against Tony Alves, going all out and trying to end it, but just could not throw the right one shot. Opening the next round. Getting takedown early and putting his opponent in a lot of the same trouble that he was in prior. After having his back taken, throwing bombs, not to be stopped, and completely zapped all stamina from him and won the fight on the ground in the third round. He might benefit from actually getting hit early in the fight, because he actually starts to step it up more and more and gets really explosive in the late rounds. So. Yeah, I can see Hector Aldana winning this fight.
Oh, sorry, you see Hector Aldana winning?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got Austin Arnett taking on Humberto Bandenay.
Oh, man.
I just finished tape on Bandenay. And from what I remember on Arnett, man, this guy... it's not like he's losing to low-quality opponents. He's losing to guys like Hakeem Dawadu, Corey Sandhagen, who's a fucking animal, and Brandon Davis, who's a dog too, man. And that Brandon Davis fight was a great fight, man. Fucking went to decision and everything. Great fight. Sorry. Humberto, on the other hand, fucking last fight against Benitez, gets slammed when he's going for an armbar. Gets knocked out from the slam.
Yeah.
Which was super weird to see, but yeah, gets knocked out from the slam.
Happens,
exactly. And then before that, another really weird knockout where like Martin Bravo's kind of going for a takedown. He shoots up a high, a fucking leg kick, a head kick, and it turns into like a knee, like just a knee to the side of the head, and
yeah,
Martin Bravo goes right out, and fucking that's how he wins his UFC debut.
I thought he was going for like a body kick or something, and he just ducked into it or something.
It might have been a body kick, but it was like, yeah, Bravo was like going for a takedown, and like he was going for a kick, and the knee just connected. It was just fucked. He definitely was going for a knee, but he was going for definitely like a kick. He's probably going for that body kick that he always hits. I do like him. He has some good striking and everything, but he does get hit a lot. After I'm gonna watch one more fight after we do this to see if I do like him enough to play him. But from what I see right now, I'm probably gonna I might stay away. But yeah, man, Austin Arnett's not the top quality. It doesn't impress me or anything. So I think Bandenay can possibly get a knockout here, but not sure, man. Maybe a little bit more tape will convince me, but not playing this as of right now.
Yeah, I can see how on paper Humberto Bandenay kind of has this fight, seeing as Austin Arnett's kind of on a bad losing streak. I mean, if you make a big mistake, I think anyone is going to pay a big price. As you know, Bandenay has kind of been on the receiving end of that in the Gabriel Benitez fight. Like you said, right before the slam, he was going for an armbar, and he was actually close. He was putting up a bit of a threat. Getting picked up is something that, I mean, it's a coin toss. Sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it doesn't. And obviously, went right Gabriel Benitez's way, because right after the slam, he was able to just turn up the punches and end the fight. And again, before that, the body kick that found Martins landed 30-second knockout. No one could have predicted that. I think I won Martin Bravo to win that fight, actually.
I had him in a 5-unit parlay, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had him. He was like -3 or 400, and I thought like fucking his wrestling was gonna get the job done for sure. I mean,
yeah,
that was an upset.
I mean, once he hits you with that kick, it's a green light, and in a flash, the kid's on the floor, turns the turbo up and starts throwing punches, back takes, goes for chokes. He's pretty impressive, and he's got decent legs to pull off submissions like triangles and arm bars. Austin Arnett, on the other hand, amazing stand-up with Brandon Davis. I like how he switches stances, because one thing about switching stances is, like, once you do it, you kind of have to reestablish that jab, that front weapon. And whenever Austin Arnett changed stances in that Davis fight, he would pop jabs, whether it was from his left or his right, and it was working for him. Obviously, he received a lot of punches as Davis was kind of coming in and keeping pressure and constantly moving forward. Austin Arnett's kind of zigzag strategy has him stopping a lot, so guys who are just faster are able to outmove him and outstrike him. In the Duwadu fight, he got pretty much beaten up in the first round, but in that same fight, he kind of came back with a few right hands in the second, and he landed almost consistently, like 3 or 4, just real quick, and it almost seemed to get him a good rally going and his corner happy. Obviously, he couldn't hang on to that. Hakeem landed a body kick that same round. Going into the third, he really started biting down in his mouthpiece, and right before the third round started, he kind of got upset and was really going off in the corner. I think if he gets his emotions in check and really has faith in a lot of his strikes, I think he could be really successful, because he's given Brandon Davis, who is already doing well in the UFC, a pretty good run. He's lost a few fights. He's got a really wide stance, so it gets him leg kicked a lot. But I think he might be able to take Humberto Bandenay here, maybe even in a stand-up fight. So hopefully those crazy kicks can go both ways, because Austin Arnett likes to throw them too. he has a big high kick that he tried to land on Duadu a few times. So I hope he lands that tonight and tomorrow and actually is able to contend with Bandenay's kicks. I got Austin Arnett. Hopefully he gets his first win here.
You're going for all the dogs.
Yep.
Did you take Devin Powell as well?
Yes.
Oh my, yo! If you were to bet this, you have no idea like the money you could make if you were to win though. Like Anderson dos Santos is plus 305. Like you put $50 on him and you win. Like you can win fucking. Okay, I thought it was way more, but he's plus 305.
It's quite a bit, yeah.
You win like $150. Plus did you pick Devin Powell? He's plus 180. Austin Arnett plus 220. Yo, you could make money, Gib.
Maybe I should.
All right. Next up is Alexander Pantoja taking on Oka Sasaki. Last fight, Pantoja fought Brandon Randall. Great fight.
Yeah.
Lots of nice scrambles and stuff. But I really like that the back takes of Pantoja, man. Pantoja is slick at taking your back. He is so fast at taking your back. It's fuck. It's like you guys are in a scramble, and that's the first thing he's going for, and he gets that body lock on you. He pulls you down. He drains all your energy.
Guys, if you watch any fight, watch that one.
Yeah,
that's a good scrap.
That's a good fight,
especially
man.
Considering their first one, because Pantoja took a few big shots when they fought in tough in that first round.
Yeah, before he choked them out.
Yeah, which he did win again, but
that was a good fight. The one on tough was good.
I thought Morano would 100% have the hands and the stand up in that fight.
Yeah, I know. But
in the next one, the rematch.
In the rematch, but it didn't look like it.
No.
And so Pantoja has, you can see he has some powerful hands, some nasty kicks, nasty leg kicks. Lost to Dustin Ortiz. Close fight, man. Fucking where he took the second round. He took the first or second round where he had Ortiz's back pretty much.
That's right. Yeah.
And then he tapped out Neil Seary before this, the retiring Neil Seary in his retirement fight. But what's impressive is his fights on tough are impressive. Like his fight against Eric Chalkin's impressive too, but his fight on tough against Brandon Randall, super impressive. And then I think against a very dangerous Kai Carter France, another impressive fight. I just like his back kicks. I think his submissions are very scary as well. Oka Sasaki, on the other hand, coming off a submission of his own against Janelle Lauza before getting submitted to UCR for Omega. And pulling off that submission against Justin Scoggins where he was losing the fight, won a scramble, and then ended up submitting Justin Scoggins.
Really good fight.
Something else I forgot to say is Pantoja's full-time now at the American Top Team. So that's big, man. Fucking he moved out of Nova União a while ago and out of Cejudo's gym to come to American Top Team full-time, where he's getting just a ton of work in with like a bunch of flyweights and really good bantamweights and whatnot. But Oka Sasaki is working. He's been living in New York for the past 2 years. He's been training at Cerro Longo, working on his hands with Longo and I see Aljamain in his corner, so he's probably getting some rounds in with Aljamain.
That's a good corner.
Yeah. From what I saw, though, he can be controlled on the ground. And I think Pantoja is going to be able to control him on the ground. If not, fucking tired. If not, I think Pantoja's gonna be able to stand with him, work his leg kicks, and chop him down, and just like be the more aggressive fighter standing. I think wherever this fight goes, Pantoja wins it. I'm very confident in him. So I got 5 units on Pantoja as well. So in the parlay with Narimani. So I got 5 units on Pantoja and Narimani minus 147.
Yeah, I can see that. I really like that Moreno fight. Obviously, seeing them fight twice was great because I'm a fan of Moreno. His hands down style and just overall kind of weird presence he brings to fights seems to keep people on their back foot. But that fight, Pantoja wasn't scared. Had a sharp eye for takedowns. Really good kicks. Moreno was stumbling all over the place, and it was a complete turn from the last fight where Moreno did have that stand up and kind of forced a big pace on him. But I mean, Moreno had him bloodied, and especially in the last 10 seconds, just a crazy brutal fight and very accurate. Pops nice single jabs from a distance, and once he gets going, he can start calculating leg kicks again. He's really good at sticking with the basics, and it all works for him. Because on the floor, and when he starts to work and he starts to work the back takes, it all starts to click for him. Obviously, if he starts rolling around like that Dustin fight, it starts to really wear on him, especially if he has to keep you in a position or go for a choke really fast. But I still think he has a great stand-up game and more than enough to deal with Sasaki. Whereas Sasaki doesn't jab much, but really kind of throws creative punches, tries to just fit them in where he can. Tends to have an open stance, but does put the hands up if he's in danger. Again, the Scoggins fight wasn't going good for him. On the ground, was getting punched up. And it seemed like every single punch that Sasaki took, he seemed to almost have a little bit more control each time as he held on. Obviously, getting constantly dominated. He even took a spin kick opening of the second round that put him on the floor. Lots of scrambles, and this is where Sasaki's game plan is. Any sort of scramble, he'll try to take the back, or any sort of move off the cage when he has his opponent's back to it. He'll try to go for it, and he's got a pretty sneaky leg lock, but it's pretty much all Hail Mary if he can't get that early back take or early choke off the fence. And his stand-up is still kind of creative, so he's loose and he might land a few single-shot punches. But I think Pantoja is going to be on him with a lot more basic stuff that works and in a lot more higher frequency. I also think he has just enough jiu-jitsu on the floor to be safe if things get really hectic. So I got Pantoja both stand-up and on the ground. Unless some crazy Hail Mary happens and Sasaki can just randomly go for it. But yeah, Pantoja all the way.
Unless Sasaki unless Pantoja rolls his ankle and Sasaki gets on top of him with a scramble.
Rolls his ankle.
That's how that's happening. That's the only way that's happening.
He went for like a leg lock on Scoggins before he took his back. That was pretty nice. And
Scoggins always fucks up somehow, though.
Well, he was doing really well, and
I love Scoggins,
spinning kick
and the
spinning kick floored him. That was a good shot, man.
Yeah, that was nasty. Okay, so next up we got Michel Prazeres taking on Bartosz Fabinski.
Sorry about that note placement, guys. Box.
At least
I'm gonna start off with that actually.
Yeah, I'll let you take this fight then. Go first.
Okay, thanks. I was really impressed by the north-south choke over Berkman that Prazeres was able to pull off in that fight. And if he goes to the ground early, that side control can happen. And got great left hooks on the stand-up too, especially after he's gotten knocked down or staggered. he just wakes up with like more shots, more punches, and they're all heavy. Only really lost twice. Lost a fight to Paulo Thiago and later on to Kevin Lee. So those are his only real big losses. Beat Maribek Tyson off.
Sorry, Gib. I'll be back in 1 second. Just keep going.
Very good at staying consistent and being scary with strikes. Enough to make people wait, and that's what he's like when he gets to a decision of most of his fights. Most of his fights are generally decisions. He's got a really good sparking combo. He can start throwing 3 to 4 punches pretty quickly, and with his back on the fence, it doesn't even seem like he's ready to throw, but all of a sudden he'll pull the trigger and lets hands go. A few kicks every now and then, but he likes to get that big overhand right, and he likes to sneak in a lot really low, uses kind of low body. He's weirdly fast on his feet. He has a kind of low hands at times, but it seems to work with him, and he's very calm with those hands down, and seems to work for him, especially in fights where guys give him that distance. And when they start to feel his power, I mean, it gets pretty serious because fighters stay real far away from him, and that's not exactly where you want to be. Bartosz Fabinski, on the other hand, I really like this guy actually. In the first round, no waiting. He gets you to the floor, start throwing punches, and pretty much goes for his game plan. Groundwork, and he likes to submit people, likes to be a nightmare to deal with in side control. Similar to where Prazeres is actually really good for, or really good in. To be a complete nightmare to deal with, dragging Hector Urbina around the corners just for so long. You need some amazing jiu-jitsu to stop Fabinski on the ground, because when he starts throwing punches and setting stuff up or getting to positions, he's rolling people over. And he can do it early too. More and more on the stand-up. He kind of jabs. He has a lot of basic stuff, and he generally has a lot of jabs and right hands, but he does throw a bit of pepper on it, and a lot of his punches do surprisingly make people step back. So I think he has a lot of presence that way, and I think a lot of the strikes that he goes for are generally pretty safe. Maybe he can. He might have to throw a few more leg kicks than Prazeres, but I think he can ultimately wait out this fight, especially in the long run. If it goes on to late rounds, I think Fabinski's pretty good. I actually think he gets a finish here, and it can beat up Michael Prazeres almost in his own game. Maybe take him to the floor and put him in that side control that he likes to get in. So I think it can be a pretty successful night for Bartosz Fabinski here. Oh, sorry, guys. Just wait for Sebs to get back. But, I mean, Fabinski, 14-2, man. His only losses are outside the UFC, really. Lost to Merson Bandel, who's currently 18-5. I mean, he's not in the UFC yet, and he's still getting wins, but it was a loss really early on in his career, and something that he's been able to obviously take into his other fights with him and continue winning. And whereas Wanderlei Silva, on the other hand, 13-6, really good fighter as well. He's still not in the UFC though. He is in ACB. Versus. We'll just wait for Seb to get back here. need to fast forward, we'll put time slots in the description so you guys can fast forward through a bit of the idol here. All right, and we're back on.
Thank you.
You might have to put in a time slot. There's a bit of idle there. I finished all my notes, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
My bad.
Don't worry about that. But yeah, who'd you take?
I got Fabinski in this, man. I think he takes him down and almost beats him in his own game of side control. Fabinski can get right on it, and he's got some great hands just to kind of spark you up before he takes you to the floor. He sticks to you, and Prazeres is only really good when people kind of fear him, and I think Fabinski's going to get straight to work in this fight.
I agree. I have Fabinski here. Think about placing even a little bit more on Fabinski. Let me see.
Oh, check out his game face in some of his fights.
Oh yeah,
his stare downs are real badass. Like right before he fights, when they get in the middle, game face.
Yeah, he's not playing around. Fuck, I'm thinking about adding another little bit on Fabinski. Actually, I shouldn't get too greedy here at all. But yeah, I do like Fabinski a lot here, and I have 2.5 units on Fabinski. To be Prazeres at plus 130. I know everybody got nasty lines on that, plus 225, plus 160, plus 180. Yeah, people were getting fucking crazy lines on Fabinski. Like Prazeres was a very heavy favorite going into this fight. And then like people just start throwing money on Fabinski, and now the line's almost near even. But I do have Fabinski 2.5 units at plus 130. Pretty simple Fabinski, man. Fucking, I think he takes down Prazeres here, and we've seen Prazeres off his back not do anything against Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee took him down twice in that fight, and he did nothing off his back. He's not a defensive jiu-jitsu player, not very good off his back, not a guard player. More of a top control kind of guy, looking for submissions at like the north-south, the fucking arm triangles, stuff like that, where he can use his top control. It's going to be hard to take down Fabinski. I don't think he's ever been taken down. And he's fought at 185 pounds, whereas Prazeres has fought at fucking 155. So I think Prazeres is going to be much easier. Fuck this. I'm putting down more on him.
That's a good move.
Yeah. Another unit on him. Actually, not another unit. Another half a unit. Sorry, guys. Hold up. I'm putting more money on Fabinski as we speak. Perfect. Well, that's weird. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I do like Fabinski a lot here. I just had another half unit on him, so I have 3 units on him at plus 130. Let's fucking go, Fabinski. Let's do this, bud. I think he's gonna be able to take him down at will, and I think he's gonna just beat him up on the ground and show that he's the better wrestler out of the two. And I think he does work here, man. Yeah. Okay. So for the yeah, I did no, I did. I'm just placing the bet right now. Okay. That's why. Okay, so boom, win. Okay, that's beautiful. I just put so we have 3 units on Bartosz Fabinski. Okay, so let's go to our main card. We have Poliana Botelho take on Cynthia Calvillo. 1 second here. I don't know if you guys saw this morning.
The weight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was pretty fucking bad. If you guys saw this morning, if you guys saw Calvillo, she actually missed weight by 2 pounds or pounds. 2 pounds by the limit because it's 116 and she was 118. But if you want to talk about fucking horrible, like fucking horrible, it was this, bro. She could barely stand on the scales.
That's right. Yeah.
She was passing out. She couldn't raise her arms to like fucking to like weigh her. She couldn't raise her arms, bro. She was so dehydrated. So dehydrated. This and fucking she looked like death, man.
Yeah. She's walking slow.
She's going against a fucking killer. Like Poliana Botelho, a fucking killer. Oh man. I wish I waited and I was gonna throw some more, but whatever. I'm happy with what I got on Poliana Botelho. I got 3 units on her at minus 141, I believe. Let me see, 3 units at minus 141. And I think she just does damage. Way better striker than Cynthia Calvillo. And she's good at defending takedowns, so I think she defends any takedowns that Cynthia throws at her, and she's able to get up if Cynthia does take her down. But I think this fight stays standing, and I can see Poliana Botelho ending this fight with a body kick. Just a deadly body kick that has the dehydrated Cynthia Calvillo out. She's just a way better striker, man. She's more powerful. She's got like 5 first-round finishes or 5 TKOs in her 7 wins. She is fucking deadly, and that knockout against Yuri Kondo was scary. Pro Gonzalez win, even though like they're 27 there, but like Pro was like not.
She hit her up on the fence.
Yeah, it was just boring to watch though with Pro Gonzalez's game plan. But yeah, she was throwing elbows and knees against the fence, just really hurting Pro Gonzalez, taking every round. Cynthia's last fight was against Carla Esparza, where she lost. And then I thought she didn't get enough. She didn't go for the takedown enough there. And I thought against Joanne Calderwood, she actually didn't go for the takedown enough either, even though she won that fight. I'm all in on Poliana Botelho. I think she does damage. And yeah, all in. So I got 3 units on her at minus 141.
When I was going into this fight, I was actually going to pick Cynthia Calvillo because I thought she would actually be really good at catching kicks. If you notice a lot of her fights, she can kind of grab that leg and sweep to the floor. She's got pretty good hands, nice uppercuts, throws body kicks, and very deadly in the mount. Quickly works to the back and goes for chokes. She got her first few wins that way. she's good at sitting in the pocket and then backing away, avoiding a shot, coming right back in, darting back in and throwing a few combos. But obviously, after seeing that weigh-in, it's not good to see. And obviously, this can maybe pull out something in someone who's in distress. I mean, maybe maybe you pull off a victory just because your back is against the wall so much, and that would be nice. But I think Poliana Botelho is coming in super healthy, and when she started rattling off kicks against Theory Kondo, man, that range that she had, she starts off really strong in the first round. When she gets really busy with the jab, the kicks get even worse, and the pressure starts to really hurt her opponents. She takes the center of the octagon really well, likes to be far away in terms of range, and is very successful at keeping people away, especially so far away that they're close and their back is almost against the fence. That's where she got Pro Gonzalez up against. Started popping some shoulder strikes in there. You don't see that very often. Not shy of those spin kicks here and there, and I like how she times those, and really good at landing little shots, and they hurt because she beat up Gonzalez from the back, and especially a couple times on the fence. So I think I got Poliana Botelho, especially after watching that weigh-in.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
I was actually going to go completely opposite until.
Before I started tape, I was leaning Cynthia Calvillo. I thought her jiu-jitsu and her was gonna win, but she doesn't go for enough takedowns to win her rounds and stuff. She doesn't understand that part of the game yet.
She likes to stand though.
Yeah, she likes to stand. You can see that she's like a tough girl. Next up we got Marlon Vera taking on Guido Canneti. I'll let you take this one, Gib.
Man, Guido Canneti, man, he's got a comeback after his last few fights. A little off balance, I guess. Knockout in the Henry Briones fight and coming back to win his last one. Body shots that really sting, man. Diego Rivas' fight was scary because he would jump into these crazy kicks, and you could tell a lot of the kicks that he was landing was making Diego Rivas a little nervous. And Canneti had some really weird movements. He was very stocky and just kind of kicking out of nowhere, then starting a takedown. If you get frustrated against Guido Canneti, man, you got to try to finish him or go for a submission because he might have enough energy to coast through the rounds, even stumbling around and even getting close to being submitted. Previously on a pretty bad losing streak, but I mean he pulled a complete 180 with that fight. Marlon Vera likes to switch stances. Very good at leg kicks. Going in, if he lands one and after another, he goes back fists and knees into clinches. Really likes the oblique kick. Chases down a lot of people with spinning kicks and attacks. I like how Vera has his high kick, and he just barely misses with them sometimes. So I mean, he's looking to crack somebody. Vera sees a lot of shots, and they kind of just he's able to really compose himself well if he's taking a lot of shots. Clinches for the underhook well, especially against the fence. Amazing fight with Brad Pickett. If you enjoy a really good scrap, check that one out. I thought Vera did really good, seeing as Brad Pickett had the takedowns in that fight. And even if you block his big right high kick or left high kick, you got to block it multiple times throughout that fight because he's always looking to land that big head kick. Sure enough, third round comes along, and he landed it. And the takedowns that he had that Pickett had landing were big. I mean, Pickett's corner was just like, you got this in the bag. Just because those skip knees start coming, popping jabs. I mean, you really can't give Marlon Vera an inch in terms of space because he'll just start going for crazy stuff. And if that's what Guido Canneti does as well, he's going to be leaving himself open for a lot. I actually think Guido Canneti might have to throw up a lot more basics to win this fight. I think Marlon Vera takes him, maybe with a back fist or a knee. That seems to be like his big strike that tends to land and sneak in there. Guido Canneti, maybe if he has another fight previous, then maybe he does it similar to Rivas and goes in late to the round. But I got Marlon Vera, and I think he finishes it. What about you? All right, guys, we'll wait till Seb gets back here. Again, we'll put in where to skip to on the description of the video. You guys want to avoid the pauses in between fight picks. All right.
Did you go through your notes again?
No, I already got it. I got Marlon Vera in this.
Okay.
I think Marlon Vera wins it. He's good at switching stances, good leg kicks. I think Guido Canneti might win if he stumbles around and Marlon Vera kind of gives him space and lets him work. But I think he knocks him out early.
Yeah. I don't think he knocks him out. I think it goes all 3 rounds, but I think Vera wins here. I do have Vera. Don't bet. I didn't bet on him or anything. It was like minus 300. Thought that was a little out of control. I don't think he should be minus 300, but you saw that body punch against like Luigi Burin. That's cool. On Topology, it says like their fight day weight. So like what he weighed like the day of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he weighed 150 pounds. So he weighs 150 pretty much. I heard him say that before too. I think it was in the James Lynch interview that he's about 150. I think he's going to be able to keep his reach, keep his distance, play kind of like play around with Guido Canneti a little bit. Guido's like kind of small, and he's fading, so he doesn't have the speed really of like a 20-year-old or 25-year-old might have. He's 38 years old, maybe 39 now. It comes out of Team Alpha Male, so you know his submissions are going to be on point though. Even though he got submitted by Congo Kang. I do like Marlon Vera in this matchup though. I think he possesses the better striking and master jiu-jitsu. I think he can win wherever this fight goes. So I'm taking Marlon Vera here for the win.
I see it.
Okay, next up we got Ian the Hurricane Heinisch taking on Cesar Mutante Ferreira. And I'm pretty big on this Heinisch kid, man. I got 2.66 units on him at plus 150. Great wrestling. He's a Colorado State national champion or wrestling champion. Really good wrestler. He would have been an All-American if he wasn't if he didn't get in trouble with the law. This kid went to like Rikers Island, man. Yeah, he was like
prison.
He was like smuggling drugs or something like that. He was smuggling pills and went to Rikers Island, man. He was in prison for a while, but when he came out, he switched to MMA, and he's been a beast, man. Working at Factory X Muay Thai with Mark Montoya. This guy's only loss is a triangle choke to Marcus Perez, where he got caught in an arm triangle, kind of like where he was beating him and then he lost the scramble. to the arm triangle, but he's got a hard overhand right. You saw it against Gabriel Checo, Daniel Madrid. You saw that power once again, and then you saw how creative he is on the floor against Lucas Rhoda, where he got that crazy shoulder lock. I don't know if you saw that one, Gib.
No.
He got a crazy shoulder lock from side control.
Oh, yeah, that okay.
That was insane. And
the shoulder trap?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, yeah.
He got it like with both of his legs. It was weird.
I think I remember that.
And then he knocked out Justin Sumter in front of Dana White to get that contract.
That was a good fight.
Knocked him out with elbows from the guard. Really put his ass out. He's just a great wrestler. I think the wrestling's going to dictate a lot where this fight goes. I think Caesar's going to have a tough time taking Ian down. I think this fight's going to stay standing, and I think Ian's going to fucking knock out Mutante, bro. He's got a hard overhand right, and I see him landing it on Mutante. On Cesar Ferreira, and I see him knocking out Cesar Ferreira. We know Ferreira's got problems with his chin. He's been knocked out by Jorge Masvidal at 170 pounds. Be it that he drained himself and dehydrated himself to 170 pounds. Maybe that was the case of the knockout, but he did get knocked out. CB Dalloway knocked his ass out, flattened him. Sam Alvey fucking dropped him. He's been dropped, man, multiple times. Been hurt, been knocked out. And I think Ian does the same thing here. I saw Cesar Ferreira's last fight against Carl Robinson. I know Carl Robinson's a very good striker, but he got caught. He got caught, he got taken down, got fucking submitted. Other than that, I think Carl Robinson is a top prospect. He would have that like if the fight stayed standing, he could have maybe knocked out Mutante. I believe I had money on Carl Robinson in that fight as well. But Cesar Ferreira is the guy who, man, he went the split decision with fucking Nate Marquardt.
Yeah.
Nate Marquardt's like 40 years old, man.
That's true. And the Marshman fight was fucked up.
Yeah.
Took some shots.
Yeah. Oh, the Hermanson fight, you're thinking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With Marshman, though?
He didn't fight Marshman.
But he fought Robertson, right?
Yeah, he fought Robertson.
Oh, Robertson fought Marshman. But I'm saying after that fight, that's still pretty good, especially fighting Robertson, you know?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, you went to split with Nate Marquardt something. I don't know, man. But fucking going to split with a 40-year-old isn't the best sign. So I think Ian has his work cut out for him, but I think he gets the job done. I think he knocks out Cesar Ferreira here. So I got 2.66 units at plus 150 on Ian Heinisch.
Looking at Cesar Ferreira's fight with Robertson, like I said, I really enjoyed when Robertson fought Marshman just because you saw real high-level striking. And I don't take anything away from Robertson. Obviously, I agree you could have taken him out in that first round, but things being the way they were, got choked out. Has a wicked fast arm triangle and guillotine choke. Took out Thiago Santos within less than a minute. Very well rounded, deserving of the name Mutant, pretty much. Vitor Belfort said he will be a champion someday. Really thinks that he can do it. And hey, he's pretty strong. Got a great double leg. Keeps opponents on the ground, fitting nice little shots in order to advance positions, getting mounts or looking for his sub. And he can take some of the best stand-up, and yeah, he goes down and he does get hit a lot with some big bombs, but he does fit his boxing in, and his kicks have a lot of force to them. Ian Heinisch, on the other hand, he's got a good side-to-side footwork while feinting jabs or even knees. Looks for his overhand right, tends to eat a shot or two on the way in, but once he does, wrestling can happen in a real quick scramble. Against Lucas Rhoda, he was able to take the fight to the ground and do a shoulder trap submission. You don't see that very often. Really liked his loose and kind of flowy style. He's standing up and almost kind of playing with people as he feints, and he laughs at them when they miss shots, like in the Sumter fight on Dana White's Contender Series. Even before he won with the downward elbows, the guy almost got a nasty armbar, almost took that with him. And even after having his back taken, he shows a lot of talent, being on the ground, getting back to a dominant position, and ending that fight. So I got Ian Heinisch in this fight. I think on the ground he can kind of contend with what Ferreira has, and in terms of stand up, I think he can crack Ferreira a few times, especially coming in.
Yes, sir.
Got some strong wrestling too, so if he wants to contend with Ferreira's, I think those fights might come pretty close. But the stand up, I think, is Ian
Heinisch. All right. So next up, we got Rountree taking on Johnny Walker.
Big.
This is a strikers matchup. Oh, and I also have on that last fight, I have the fight doesn't go to decision on Ian Heinisch and Cesar Ferreira for 4 units at -250, parlayed with something later in the card. But I got Rountree here. I got and Johnny Walker. This is what I parlayed it with, actually. The fight doesn't go to decision on this fight. So I got both fight doesn't go to decision, and Ian Heinisch versus Cesar Ferreira fight doesn't go to decision, and Rountree versus Johnny Walker fight doesn't go to decision at -122 for 4 units. And I also took Rountree at 3.52 units at -176 here. I do like Khalil. I think he's got a chin on him. I think he looks a lot leaner now than he did before. He lost some muscle, and he's been working on his cardio or something. He came in at 204.5 pounds. Looks like he's in shape. He's been training at Black House MMA, I'm pretty sure. And man, this he just knocked out Gokhan Sasaki,
Yeah.
Fucking the straight left. It's no joke. He's a very powerful striker, and he can knock out anybody with a punch, man. There's a lot of people that there's not a lot of people that would be able to take a shot from him in the light heavyweight division. 100%. Very dangerous fighter. When he is taken down is when we see him have problems against grapplers and whatnot. But Johnny Walker's no grappler. He's a striker as well. He's got a lot of knockouts on his record. And if you go watch Johnny Walker's fight against Luis Enrique Silva, lost stamina in the first round. Very slow. Throws power and shit. Big guy, man. 6'6", but fuck, he's he throws a lot of weird strikes and shit, but I don't know, man. This is gonna be a banger of a fight for as long as it lasts. But from what I've seen, is like this Johnny Walker kid gets dropped a lot. If you go watch his fight, Jungle Fight 88, I forgot who he fought, but this guy gets dropped in 18 seconds. In the first, literally 5 seconds of the fight, gets dropped, gets back up, gets dropped again.
Yeah,
gets mauled. 18-second knockout. I can see Calvillo knocking this guy out rather easily. I think Calvillo's got this, man. I think Calvillo's the better striker of the two, and he knows what he's got to do to win here. So I got Calvillo 3.52 units at -176.
Yeah, Johnny Walker, man. He definitely stands out with his height, and he's very bouncy with his movements. For someone who's so tall, he's pretty fast, but it obviously starts to tax him later on. He needs to really find his mark with those knees because they can come out of nowhere and flying. He throws a lot of crazy stuff. He's got some pretty good footwork and speed, and he's got a good kick 1-2. Once he gets like any sort of single kick landing, right back down, bang, throws 2 punches, right back in it. Obviously the fight on the Contender Series did look tired in that round, but he still looked pretty good. His hand drops a lot. Not good against Khalil Rountree, I guess. But he does have some power in those punches. You know, beat down Silva by decision. Could have finished it in the second round with a guillotine, actually. But obviously the round ended. Khalil Rountree, we might be seeing an evolution in Khalil Rountree, man, because this guy bombed Paul Craig, who got the triangle Hail Mary in his fight. Destroyed Gokhan Saki, who I had Gokhan Saki in that fight. I didn't even think Rountree really.
Oh, I had 5 units on him.
I didn't think Rountree could really contest with him on the stand-up, trading any sort of punch that Gokhan Saki would throw or kick or whatever. Kick, punch, knee, whatever. Like, he couldn't contest with very much of them. But sure enough, his punch lines up, and he cracked Gokhan Saki. Mad respect. And if he catches you, he'll follow up to the end. Body kicks on repeat, and right hands are his thing. He's got a creepy pace, because I think even Gokhan Saki saw it. Just as he kind of walked forward, even he was like, man, I just felt the wind from one of those punches. He's got a big left hand that can come right down the middle, and if you don't slip it, you're gonna get hurt. Once his jab tracks you down, his left hand will be lined up. In the amateurs, he actually won by guillotine a long time ago. But other than that, he's all knockouts, all knees. He always lands some big shot in really crucial moments. So if a lot of fighters start to give him a lot of pressure and land shots, they're actually on their way to getting hit, or they're gonna have to move out of the way from one of Rountree's punches or kicks or something, because when it smashes you, or when it smashes their opponents, a lot of them don't want to go back in, and a lot of them start fighting off their back foot, and that's not a good spot to be in with Khalil Rountree, because he just repeats punches and throws double rights or double kicks, and man, cracks people. I'd actually like to see a rematch with him and Tyson Pedro, actually, because that was his only real loss in the UFC after Andrew Sanchez. So, hey, that fight's still open. I wouldn't mind seeing that after he fights Walker. But yeah, I got Khalil Rountree in that fight. I think he knocks him out.
I agree. I think he knocks him out. Okay, co-main event time. Ricardo, the Bully Lamas, taking on Darren the Damage Elkins here. I don't know how I forgot that for a second. But yeah. This should be a fucking banger for co-main event.
Yeah.
Ricardo Lamas, coming off 2 losses, that hard loss to Josh Emmett where he got knocked out, and then split decision to Mirsad Bektik. I went ahead and I put 5 units on Ricardo Lamas here.
Yeah.
I think he's just a better fighter all around. I took him at -193. The line's a lot better right now. It's at -164, so you can get a great price on him, a lot of value. But I just think Ricardo Lamas is too much for Darren Elkins. I think he's going to be too much on the feet. His shots are very accurate. He's got great boxing. He's got nasty leg kicks. This is a guy who went 5 rounds with Jose Aldo. He's no joke. He's got great wrestling. He was a Division III national champion. Darren Elkins, on the other hand, is kind of a grinder. The only thing I would say he has over Ricardo Lamas is heart.
Yeah. He's got a nasty body triangle, too.
Yeah, he can throw up a nasty body triangle. But other than that, it's he doesn't have the greatest striking or anything. Gets hit a ton. I think Ricardo Lamas might knock him out. So I got Ricardo Lamas by second round knockout, actually. 5 units on Ricardo Lamas at minus 193.
Yeah, I totally see that. I mean, Elkins, he's take a punch to take a punch to land a punch type of fighter, and tries to grind you out that way and wear fighters down. He really looks for that last minute sprint. He really looks for a lot of almost his opponent's domination in a sense, and gets hit a lot, almost like a Ulka Sasaki type thing, and will just explode and start throwing, start really going for wrestling, start really dirty boxing, body kicks. Very sneaky when he lowers his striking stance. He likes to match his opponent's height if he's shorter or has a low stance, and likes to try to throw bombs down the middle. Like I said, Darren Elkins is a really nasty body triangle and likes to take the back a lot. But he does tend to get tired, especially in the first round if the pace is really high, and he has to throw lots of combinations, especially if the grappling isn't exactly in his favor. A lot of his stuff doesn't work. He just needs people up against the fence. Whereas Ricardo Lamas, he's really quick, he bounces in and out. He held really good composure against Jason Knight, who put him in a lot of submission trouble, but he was able to get out. Nasty. Got out of a nasty heel hook from David Knight, from Knight in that fight. Lamas has some machine gun punches because once he stands, he'll start to really add the numbers up, and he can rally. He's got good boxing, tosses in a few leg kicks. He likes to mix things up, and I think he's very basic as well, and he looks for a lot of good shots. Obviously, hasn't been doing well in that split decision with Rasad Bektik, but I think I definitely think he can beat. I definitely think he beat Darren Elkins, especially after that last fight. I think Volkanovski was a lot for Darren Elkins to handle that time.
Yeah, I agree.
Even after his Michael Johnson fight,
Like, if you go back and you, like that Mirsad Bektik fight, he fucking almost killed Darren Elkins. And then, like, if he lost to Mirsad Bektik, this is what my boy Manpreet from MMA Lock of the Night was saying. If he lost to Mirsad Bektik, he'd be a plus 250 underdog or some shit here. He'd be a huge underdog. But you saw Volkanovski with a broken rib handle Darren Elkins. I think Ricardo Lamas really knocks his ass out and just knocks out Darren Elkins and finally gets a win against Team Alpha Male, man. Because it's been how many guys have fought him from Team Alpha Male? 3 now, and he's lost all 3 of them, I think. He lost to Castillo. Yeah, he lost to Castillo. He got knocked out by all 3 of them, I'm pretty sure, too. Fuck.
Jeez.
Yeah, Chad Mendes knocked him out, Josh Emmett knocked him out, and Dan Castillo knocked him out. So Ricardo Lamas lost to all 3, Team Alpha Male, man. I think he gets one back against Team Alpha Male here. I think it's a job done. I know so much fucking max bets I have. Not max bets, but 5 unit bets. Because I don't consider that a max, but I got a lot of them. Next up, we got our main event of the evening, bro. Magny taking Santiago Ponzinibbio.
This is a really good fight.
Yeah. I went ahead. I put 4 units on Santiago Ponzinibbio at minus 259, thinking the line wasn't going to get better. It got better.
No.
I threw another unit on minus 217. It got way better. So I got 5 units on Santiago Ponzinibbio here. Not much to say, man. I think he boxes up Magny. He's a better striker. I think he gets those leg kicks going. He box up Neil Magny, and eventually, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I think he finishes Neil Magny in the second or third round due to strikes. I just hope he's worked on his cardio because Neil Magny is a beast at cardio, and if this
Good grinder.
If this goes into the late rounds, Ponzinibbio has to be up on the scorecards to feel comfortable because Neil Magny will not stop. We saw him against Hector Lombard. The guy doesn't quit. You need to put Neil Magny out for him to quit. But we saw when you're a better striker than Neil Magny, you cause him problems, and I saw that in the Lorenzo Larkin fight. If you go watch that, just really beautiful oblique kicks. Lorenzo Larkin's throwing right to his oblique to Neil Magny's oblique, and just fucking kicking him against the fence, just fucking his legs up. His leg kicks and just ultimately finishing him in the first round there. I think Ponzinibbio puts the pressure on him, keeps Magny on his back foot, and ultimately finishes Magny as well. Got 5 minutes on Ponzinibbio, feeling really confident especially that he's in his hometown of Argentina. I think the pop's going to be huge for him. I think the crowd's going to go crazy every time he lands a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to play into the judges' minds as well. I got Ponzinibbio all day here. Yeah, 5 units. I got 4 units at minus 259, 1 unit at minus 217.
You know what? Santiago Ponzinibbio is super scary. It can be troublesome for a lot of pressure fighters, actually. Mike Perry and Gunnar Nelson found that out real quick. And Gunnar Nelson, I wouldn't say he's a super pressure fighter, but he kind of stands at the back and kind of jumps in and out, always popping in kind of quick. But in the Mike Perry fight, he was able to cut the cage off and start backing Perry into some corners, making him throw more singles than he really should have, and just blistered him up with jabs. And he's really accurate. Perry walked into a lot of Ponzinibbio's right hands in the first, and really good at staying composed, especially if his opponents start to hit their striking and go into their game plan. He looks to land kicks and people leave him space, and he can tag those fighters who crouch or change levels. Knows when to jab and works how to fit in that right hand and low kick combination. Again, relies on the basics and very good practical striker, using what he works with, settling into really great spots, and he'll even pull a spinning back fist off every now and then, especially if you're standing in one spot or if you've thrown a combination and you're sitting. You can even take a kind of wide stance and jumped into Gunnar Nelson, put a great tricky punch there. Low hands, looks for that big right. He wobbled Nelson with it, and once blood is in the water, man, he starts attacking. He's a shark. Neil Magny, on the other hand, I think a lot of fighters who are like Ponzinibbio can get beaten by the grinders. I think Neil Magny is that type of grinder, throws a lot of little shots, a lot of little knees, little elbows, and they start to add up, and they actually start to become big shots, especially if he starts working his fence game. Was able to beat up Craig White and making very short work of him. It was his first time in the UFC, and he had to go up against Neil Magny. So, I can see the first night jitters, but I think Neil Magny keeps really loose and he's got a good distance. Once he's in the clinch, he starts to get way stronger and starts to work more. And if you keep a slow and steady pace, Neil Magny can actually make that work more in his favor. He likes those boxing. Likes those boxing jabs. He likes to throw body shots. Being very well-rounded fighter who's I think very resourceful. He's able to kind of go wherever the fight goes and trying to get him out of situations if he has to get up and stand, and maybe even get fighters back to the fence and rinse and repeat his plan. I would check out his Lorenz Larkin fight. Obviously, Lorenz beat him, but Lorenz actually beat both Ponzinibbio and Neil Magny. So that's kind of interesting that they both kind of got to fight. Obviously, I think Lorenz Larkin finished Neil Magny off in the first, and then he beat Ponzinibbio in the second. So I'm not sure if that makes Ponzinibbio a little bit stronger on that sense. But I actually think Neil Magny's style might clash a little differently with Ponzinibbio's, and in that sense, I think he grinds him out, brings him to the fence, and actually kind of hits a lot of his little shots. And I actually think he does really well against Neil Santiago's boxing. So I got Neil Magny in this fight actually to grind it out.
Go fuck yourself.
Make it boring.
He has to do that from the belt, from the first round to the last round if he's gonna win. And I don't see him doing that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Stay with Carlos Condit.
Carlos Condit sucks.
I don't know about that one.
Oh man, Carlos Condit's fucking washed up, bro. He's a fucking coffee maker, man.
Wow.
That guy's
Coffee
horrible.
maker.
He does. He makes coffee, bro. That guy, that's all he's good at. Lost to Neil Magny. That's cool. All right. I got Ponzinibbio all day here,
Yeah.
especially in Argentina. Come on, how can you pick against Ponzinibbio in Argentina?
What can I say? I'm going for the underdogs.
Yes, you are, my friend.
But I don't think Neil Magny is an underdog in that fight, no?
Oh, he's a huge underdog.
Is he?
Or he was, but
He was, and then it changed, right?
no,
Like
he's still like a pretty big underdog. He's
oh, okay.
plus 190. I'm pretty sure it's what he is right now. Yeah, plus 190. So he's still a pretty big underdog here. Ponzinibbio should have this fight if everything goes to plan. But yep, that was our breakdown for UFC Buenos Aires, Magny vs Ponzinibbio, bets, breakdown, and predictions. Yeah, hit me up on Twitter at the Sebs Show and subscribe and hit the like button, man. It only takes a couple seconds to subscribe to the like button, and we post out videos every week. And fucking, if you like this, press like, man. Be boys, it helps a lot. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and take care. Let's cash these bets.
Enjoy the weekend, everybody.